Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Michaela and I'm going to do today with you a new top which I forgot actually already the name because I've been working on it for a while now, but it's ready and it's a very cute top, right? It's a twisted top with a mesh detail. So I have here my two front parts, which actually will be main fabric and lining, both of them, and they are cut in mirrored. And what I'm going to do, I am going to actually first place one side on top of the other. It's really optional, right? It's really optional which side, but I've already marked on my pattern on this side, so I will just set it aside and then I will explain you all the rest of the parts I've got here. So I've got, this is my back piece and this is my mesh detail for the back piece, which will come pretty like this. I will also be marking it on my pattern where will this go. This pattern will be done with binding. I've got my binding straps. If you do not have a binding, I highly recommend, since I've tested for the first time, fold over elastic. So it's just really so easy. They come already with a little band, so it's so easy to attach it. So you just place it and then you do a zigzag stitch. That's really lifesaver for someone who doesn't have a cover stitch and binding it takes forever. But I do have a cover stitch and I want to create this with my binding foot. So that will be done off camera, but like I said, you can use a fold over elastic. I've done a few videos showing the technique of how to sew with a fold over elastic. I've got here also my lining. I've cut the same fabric and I was I had a little, only a few pieces left, so I've cut it in two, but that would be my lining for the back piece. And I've got here my waistband, the same. I didn't have enough fabric, so I divided in two. Absolutely not an issue, right? This is the underbust band and this is the mesh detail for the front piece. Okay, let's start with the construction. First things first, I am going to pin all along my curvy side. I will turn it on the other side after. So this is like the twisted detail, right? And this has to be done from the inside towards the outside. So I've got here the two lycra pieces, which, like I said, you will not have to cut a lining, you will just cut lycra right away. Okay, and I've marked on the pattern until where you actually have to stitch from the inside this bit. You can add elastic, but it's optional. And since this is my demonstration video, most likely I will not add elastic. I am using rubber elastic. So I have here, so for you to better understand, I've got here, right, this is my main front piece, and I've marked on the pattern, I've marked here until where I actually need to stitch from the inside on the both sides. And first things first, I will be doing bust stitching first, since this is lifesaver when you're working with slippery lycra fabric. So bust stitching is practically just a straight stitch with the highest stitch length and it helps most of the time to secure the 2 layers of fabric together. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this. And like I said, I've marked it on my pattern until where I need to stitch. Okay. I've pinned all over because it's just easier to know where to start and how to finish. So once you've done the bust stitching, I recommend you to do these little cuts into it as to allow stretch to your fabric, right? If not, once you've serged it, you can remove it, but I never remove it. I just make these little cuts, and then in case they poke out, I just remove some bits. Okay, so I'll be doing the other side off camera, the same what I did over here, and I will be serging afterwards. So I can actually show you how I'm serging. If you do not have a serger, you can always use a zigzag stitch. Since I do have a serger, I always prefer to use it. So I'll be doing the other thing, I'll be doing the other side off camera. Once I'm done, I'll come back with the next step. Okay, so the center stitch is done. And now what I'm going to do, I am going to turn the main top on the right side of the fabric. And I'm going to pin practically all the parts to secure the 2 layers of the fabrics together. So I am going to pin the bottom part. I'm going to pin the bottom part of the top. Right, let me just show it to you better. So yes, I'm going to pin the bottom part of the top, each side, the sides, the underarm, and the remaining of this piece, right? So here I'm going to carefully turn it like this on this last stitch. I'm going to place it right, and I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to do a bust stitching over to secure the 2 layers of fabric together. Why is this? Is because we are adding the mesh afterwards, so then it's just so much easier to add the 3rd layer to this beautiful top. Okay, so I'll be doing off camera pinning and do a bust stitching on the sides, on the underarm, and on this little bit left. Once I'm done, I'll come back to show you the next step. Okay, so I've bust stitched my main front piece, right? And the next step will be actually twisting it. So I'm just practically turning one side over the other, right? And next I'm going to attach the mesh. I'm showing it to you like that, but normally it will look like this. So the mesh will be practically hidden inside, and what you will see is the sneak peek of the detail in the center and a little bit here to the side. But overall the mesh is mirroring my main front piece, right? Okay, that being said, I've prepared also my my binding straps. I will also get ready and do my my binding before that, sorry. Got confused. What I'm going to do, I am going to pin all around everything, practically everything. I'm going to pin all the top because, like I said, the mesh is actually mirroring the lycra, so I'm pinning, and then I'm going to do another bust stitching so it will be easier to attach the bindings. So I'm pinning and bust stitching like that, like that, like that, like that, down parts, the sides. Right here I will be only bust stitching until this little moment, right, where the lycra is meeting the lining, the raw edge, and afterwards no more bust stitching because the binding strap will come over my my mesh, right? So here I'm going to pin this. I do not touch in the center, right? Side, bottom, underarm, and this part of the neck. Okay, so I've attached my mesh piece, and now we have a complete, let's call, front piece, right? Next I'm going to do, I am going to attach also the back piece. So I'm going to take my this would be like my front main lycra, right? That's not my lining, that's what I want to say. And I'm going to place it over my front, matching the right side of the fabrics together. And I'm going to do once another last stitch. And like I said, this is to secure the layers together without the fabric moving. One will be attaching the binding. So I'm stitching both sides, and afterwards I am going to place my lining, let's call it like that. My lining, I'm going to place it actually here underneath, right? And I'm going to stitch it, and the moment I'm going to stitch it, the lining stitch will be hidden, right? So it's hidden from the inside, from the outside. So the lining, practically you are placing it, let's say, underneath. So you're sandwiching the front piece under, in between the two back pieces. Okay, so for this bit I'm not going to I'm not going to do another bust stitching. I am just going to directly go to my serger and serge it right away. Okay, so like I said, this way we are hiding the stitch in between, so you cannot see it neither on the wrong side of the fabric, neither on the front. And the next step will actually be, I will be pinning and back stitching all my back piece over here in order to prepare it for the binding. Also, I will be doing it off camera, the binding part, but I will be explaining it to you so you know how it's happening. So I will be starting with the binding here, underarm, and I will go all around in my back, and I'll come back to the other front piece on the underarm. As well, in the same time, I'll also be doing the binding for the neck area all around like this. Like I said, this piece stays in front like that, and the binding will be done on the mesh. And in the same time, I'll be doing the binding to my second back piece, let's call it like this, and I'll be doing binding on the top, on the outside, and on the bottom. So I will just leave these little side bits without the binding. Once I'm back, the top is almost ready, and we'll be adding the underbust band, and that's about it. Okay, so binding is done and the top is almost ready, but before I'm going to attach the underbust band, I'm going to stitch the let's call it second back piece together with the front piece or with the rest of the top. And first thing I'm going to do, I am actually going to I'm going to place it underneath my, so on the inside of my fabric, and I did mark, it will be marked on the paper as well. I did mark already on my fabric where about I should start. I made this little stitch, this little dot, sorry. And what I'm going to do, I'm just placing it on the inside, and I try to go over the same stitch as my binding. Of course, if you did your binding with your zigzag stitch, you cannot do the same stitch, because obviously one is zigzag, but you can try, you can actually also use the zigzag stitch. And I wanted to say, in case you have issues with your sewing machine, that it will be like moody for, let's say, like thicker layers, right? I will show you right now. So I've got here my other, wait, I'm just going to check if it's completely symmetric. All right, so here will be my other side. It's going to be tricky to show it, but I will try my best right now. So I'm placing the fabric, I'm placing everything in order. So in case your sewing machine is struggling, you will be adding this foot underneath your normal foot, right? You'll be adding like this. It has a thinner side, it has a thicker side, so you might use whichever you need to. So you add the foot, and then immediately your sewing machine will push it in the back once you past the thicker layer. What I wanted to also say, In case that you have a better way of construction this top, you don't need to follow necessarily my way. Of course, this is not a reversible top, obviously, because of the binding and the mesh detail. And okay, for example, here when we will attach it to the shoulder is a great example to show you how the hump jumper works. So you see I've placed it underneath, and okay, my foot is really low, right? So now I take the hump jumper, I'm gonna take the thicker part, and then I lower my foot and it's about the same level. And I'm just doing first a straight stitch, my sewing machine is really friendly when I'm adding when I'm stitching over thicker layers. I do have, it's called Zinger Heavy Duty 33, I think 9932, something like that. It should have been so I don't actually need the hump jumper foot, but it's always useful in case of. Okay, now I will be trimming the excess fabric, and I will be doing the other side of my shoulders, and I'll be doing it together with you. So like this way, I will not start and stop the video all the time. I also forgot to tell you, when I start stitching these really in general like thicker bits, I pull a little bit of thread in the back. So it's not a big pull, it's only a guiding pull, right? Okay, now the underbust band. Imagine that you have a long one. I've already stitched mine because the indications are to cut on fold. So first thing, I'm going to fold it like this. And I'm going to stitch it together. Then I will turn it on the right side of the fabric, and this I will be doing it actually off camera. I will be pinning all around, so I'm folding it in two like that on the small, on the length, and I will be pinning and bust stitching all around this, and afterwards I'm going to attach it to the top. Last step. Okay, so underbust is prepared, top is prepared, and what we are going to do now, we are going to place the underbust. I'm going to place it kind of like over the top, and please remember that the band, the underbust band, is slightly smaller than the top. So when you are pinning it and stitching it, slightly pull the band, but only very little, so it's not a big pull, it's just a little bit. Pinning in this moment is very important, as of course it will give you an idea whether how much you need to pull when you're stitching, right? So you're not having to pull a lot in the last part, right? So like I said, I'm pinning it all around, and for this step I am not going to do another bust stitching. I'm going directly to my serger, and I'm going to directly serge it. I did not add elastic, but I did a lot of videos where I showed how to attach to the underbust band elastic band as well. For this one specifically not, but if you ask me, I will let you know, or please check my videos. So yes, I'm just slightly pulling when I'm serging it. And please make sure that you're covering all the layers of the fabrics. And now the top is ready. I'm so excited to try it on. Most likely I will keep it because I really like the mesh detail and everything else. Yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to write me, and if not, I wish you happy sewing.